I am in the southwest of Germany, in Speyer. The city of 50,000 inhabitants is located on the Rhine and is best known for this building.
Speyer Cathedral, the city's main landmark, 1,000 years old and a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Christianity has set great monuments in the city, but Judaism has also left its mark here. In the Middle Ages, Speyer was one of the most important Jewish settlements in Central Europe, along with Mainz and Worms. The three cities were even called Jerusalem on the Rhine.
Speyer, Worms and Mainz are considered the cradle of European Judaism. Jewish life has shaped these three cities for more than 900 years, and I want to know what remains of it. So today's show is not just a city trip, but also a journey through Jewish history.
In the old town of Speyer, in the Judenhof, the Jewish courtyard, is the Speyer Museum. In the Middle Ages, Speyer was called Spira in Hebrew, which is how the museum got its name. Worms was called Uamaisa and Mainz Magenza. For this reason, these three cities are called ShUM communities. Sh stands for Spira, U for Uamaisa and M for Magenza.
The term ShUM is like a logo. It is familiar to Jews all over the world.
The importance of Speyer becomes clear when you go outside the museum. Here you can see the remains of the medieval synagogue. It dates back to 1104. Next to it was the so-called Frauenschule, the synagogue for women.
In general, women and men sit apart at synagogues. Well, and this bench here used to be for the women. They were able to follow the service via these listening slots here.
This mikveh is particularly noteworthy, a ritual bath from the 12th century. In acknowledgement of their important Jewish past, the three ShUM cities are now seeking to be listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. My next stop is Worms, 40 minutes away from Speyer. I have an appointment at the Heiliger Sand, Holy Sand Cemetery with Susanne Urban. She's the managing director of the association ShUM-Städte, which is responsible for the preservation and communication of Jewish history in Speyer, Worms and Mainz. Men must wear headgear in the cemetery. How old is the cemetery?
Almost 1,000 years old. It dates from around 1030 or 1040, the same time as the Jewish community settled here. So it's a really old Jewish cemetery. You can also see that from looking at the stones. It's a sea of stones.
The two here are, of course, particularly eye-catching.
They are not only right at the entrance of the cemetery, but also covered with notes and with stones, so that you can see this is a living memorial.
The reason, Susanne Urban tells me, is that a famous rabbi from Rothenburg is buried here. What's the tradition of placing stones on tombstones?
If you look around here, you can see stones lying everywhere on individual graves or tombstones. And the important thing is simply that you honor the memory of that person. You don't have to know them. This whole area contains about 2,500 visible gravestones from many, many centuries. If we briefly stop here and look at this small green island, you will see the two oldest gravestones we know of.
1,000 years old.
They're 1,000 years old. One is an unknown young man, and the other on the left is a Jakob, probably a Talmud student. We don't know for sure.
On our way to the synagogue, we pass many stumbling blocks. I've seen stones like this here in many other cities. What is this all about?
This is the largest decentralized Holocaust memorial in existence. There are tens of thousands of stones all over Europe. This was inspired by an artist from Cologne who, in the 1980s, 90s, asked, how can you actually best memorialize someone? And the best thing is actually to stop, as you did, and ask, what is that disturbance on the ground? That's something different, and there are names on it, and numbers and places, and suddenly you realize that there are stories behind these stones.
They tell of the victims of the Nazi regime and are embedded in the ground in front of their former homes. During this time, the Jews from here were harassed, deported and murdered, as in many parts of Europe. We also find stumbling blocks in the Judengasse. The course of the street today is the same as it was in the 12th century, and in the center, Rashi Shul, the Worms synagogue.
The building may not be large, but it has an incredible history. It dates back to the 11th century, was burned down several times in the wars, the Crusades, attacked again and again, and the Jews in Worms always said, we will rebuild it, we belong here and we want to stay here. This is, of course, testimony to an extraordinary resilience and a desire to be respected.
The building was also destroyed during the Nazi era and later rebuilt in 1961. Services are held here again today. I head north again, 40 minutes to Mainz. There are hardly any remains of the Jewish past left, but there is a new synagogue, an architecturally exceptional building. The Jewish journalist Andreas Berg volunteers to guide visitors through the synagogue, which was inaugurated in 2010. The building has an unusual shape. Why is that?
The whole thing is a word sculpture, and the word is Kedushah. I brought the architect's draft with me. Kedushah stands for holiness. It's the name of an important prayer observant Jews say 3 times a day. And the letters of the Kedushah evoked the outer silhouette.
Unfolded like that.
It's folded out like that, right around the corner. And here's another special thing. The Spolia, the remains of the pillars of the old synagogue, which stood here until 1938. It was one of 3 inner-city synagogues. This one here was the liberal Mainz synagogue, which had close to 1,000 members. It's a wonderful testament to the old days, which shows that Mainz once had a great Jewish tradition. These are the kippahs, or caps, that people always put on when they go into the synagogue, or while praying in everyday life.
Why do we wear one?
It's a mark of humility towards the Lord, that one simply cannot go bareheaded. It's a mark of reverence to the Lord.
This place of worship is impressive. The gold-colored walls are decorated all over with Hebrew characters. They reach up to the top of the tower. Even the benches form a letter, Lamed, the Hebrew letter L. In front are the Torah scrolls, with the 5 books of Moses.
You read the Torah with the ritual pointer, the yod. That's very important because the ink is vegetable-based. So in summer, if you rub your sweaty finger over the Torah scroll, that would smudge the writing. But it's also a sign of respect for God not to just point a finger directly at the biblical word. Instead, you use the ritual pointer to travel along the line.
Yes, definitely. The ShUM cities are unique. 3 wonderful places with a Jewish history that goes back hundreds of years and that is still visible today. Shalom and see you next time.